All right, good morning. Thanks for joining in to Jonathan and Julie D in the morning. Good morning, Julie.
Grand Rising, Jonathan. How are you?
Oh, it's a beautiful day out here.
Indeed. Same.
Well, I'm going to start the show out this morning. We've got some breaking news I want to get out there. I've got to
Okay.
put us into the studio for a second to show it.
Okay.
See if I can do this. Maybe not. Here we go. Hold on one second. Well, looks like they're just going to have to listen to it. Hold on a second.
So you understand it. And people are going into the holidays. He gets it. The shutdown exposed a lot.
Yes.
And he saw that.
Yes.
And he has spoken to that.
I think the shutdown exposed a lot, but also the results of the election last week exposed a lot too. That affordability is hurting people. And people don't think of how did we get here? They think about how I feel right now.
Right.
And so he's targeting those issues and trying to make it better. Big, beautiful bill. That's going to hit in January. That's going to help.
Yeah, big, beautiful law. Jackie, thank you very much. We have breaking news now. It is a wild scene outside an illegal immigrant processing center in Broadville, Illinois. You know, on Fridays, this gets hot. Let's go straight to Garrett Tenney on the ground down there so this can turn dangerous. Garrett, I see that they are arresting some people down there. What's going on?
Yeah, we probably have at least a half dozen or so people that were arrested just in the last few minutes. And this is the regular Friday protest that we have here outside the Broadview Ice Processing Facility. A couple hundred people that are here. And what happened in the last 10 or 15 minutes, this roadway right here that leads to the ice facility, it is blocked off. They are not supposed to be standing there. But over 10 minutes or so ago, this crowd started to move into the street to try to block it off from any access going in or out. And that's when these clashes with law enforcement started, when they refused to get out to the sides of the street, these designated protest zones, and some shoving that was involved with the county sheriff, as well as state police that are out here, as well as Broadview police. You can see down here now, riot police coming down the road. And this is after a couple of weeks of mostly calm out here on Fridays. But this comes after a week of several rulings of judges where these activists out here feel empowered. They are celebrating this morning these rulings that really are complicating the Trump administration's immigration enforcement here. And you see riot patrol that is out here now. They're coming and they're securing this area. Gas masks are not out at the time. We know that has been deployed here, though, previously. But tension certainly getting up here high over the last 10 or so minutes.
Look,
Could you guys hear that okay, Julie?
Yes, I
Yeah.
can.
I mean, this rioting's getting pretty bad.
So this is in Chicago?
This is right in Chicago right now.
Okay.
And this is going on as we speak.
All right.
I was trying to just get that out there. I've got another camera that I'm going to be putting over to the viewing area as well. That'll be up and running today. Otherwise, I'd have to get up and move the camera itself. But either way, that way when we're showing these kind of scenes, we can show everybody, right on our broadcast.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, Chicago is kind of a nightmare this morning. Glad I'm not in Chicago. I'm glad I'm not in Chicago.
Yeah, same.
I don't know if you've seen about Donald Trump this morning, but he's asking for a new hearing from the Epstein for them to be looking into this for the investigations. And a lot of stuff's been coming out, and in one aspect, I hope to hell they just release everything, get this out of our way. I mean, we have got such bigger fish to be looking into right now versus Epstein. I'm so sick of hearing about Epstein.
Yeah, well, and it's rather interesting how the Democrats yesterday attempted to get the tie between Epstein and Trump. And in doing so, it seemed to have backfired because the information that they released actually did more of an exoneration of President Trump, that he does not and did not have nefarious ties with Jeffrey Epstein.
Right.
More that he was the one that kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago when he found out that what was happening, what was going on, and some inappropriateness. And so there's a lot of things that I think are happening that we can't see all of it right now. But it's very interesting, the timing of everything, right?
Oh yeah.
So it's going to be fun to see how this all plays out.
Yeah. But it's funny because when you watch the liberal news up here, I mean, when you listen to the liberals talk, they make it sound like they've got everything on Trump. Trump's going to be impeached, and he's going to go to prison. I've heard some outlets saying he's going to go to prison.
Right.
I mean, these guys just are nonstop. They seem to bury themselves, is what they do.
Well, they're prostitutes, and they're the propaganda arm of the Democratic Party.
Right.
And they were given the ability to be so legally by Obama, and I believe that was passed in 2013. If you guys want to look that up and get the appropriate numbers, but basically what he did was he said that the press no longer has to give their actual sightings and their resources for what they're reporting. And so therefore that became, hey, if anybody's got an opinion, go for it. Right. And their opinion was Orange Man bad. And so they all got their walking orders and walking papers at 4 a.m. They're called 4 a.m. talking points. This is why when you look at mainstream media, every time it'll be a different newscaster, but it's going to be the same verbiage coming out of their mouths every time.
Yeah.
So that propaganda has been used against us legally since 2013 under Obama. But before that, the whole concept of news was created in order to sway the people anyway. So they're really, as far as, the real truth, there really hasn't been a whole bunch of actual truth being reported for forever, since the dawn of when they first started reporting things. So it's very interesting to see how, like you said, the other side is reporting propaganda, think this way, act this way, call to arms type thing. But I really think they're losing more people every day when they show who and what they really are. The Democrats have not had any aspect of setting things up to assist and support the people. It's all about using the people. And in what way can we make a bigger claim and make some money, right? So
Right. Well, I'm going to show a little bit of what Kash Patel is doing right now.
okay.
This is where Kash Patel finally exposed by big names in Epstein case. This is what they're saying out there on some of these. And let's get this out there anyways.
Allows me to do it, I will do it.
You know, the one
to one killing will be the same level of concern.
The gentleman from Texas is recognized.
Thank you, sir. Director Patel, thank you for being here today, and most importantly, thank you for restoring trust and faith in the FBI, which has been severely eroded under the Biden administration. Thank you for your service and your continued service in this capacity. On April 7th, 2025, Charlie posted on X, "Assassination culture is spreading from the left. 48% of liberals say it would be at least somewhat justified to murder Elon Musk. 55% say the same about Donald Trump. In California, activists are naming ballot measures after Luigi Mangione. The left is being whipped into a violent frenzy and set back. Whether losing an election or losing a court case justifies a maximally violent response," end quote. And unfortunately for Charlie, that reaction also came when they couldn't win a debate on a college campus. You cannot be intellectually honest and say that this problem is on both sides. It's not just what happened to President Trump, it's also what just happened to Charlie. We've gotten to a point in America where violence is encouraged. We have a former president of the United States that opens up his campaign in 2019, that's Joe Biden, by saying that his opponent is a, quote, existential threat to this country. Houston, we have a problem. People that you disagree with are not existential threats. They are not Nazis. They are not fascist. They are not racist. They are not deplorable. They are not irredeemable. They are your fellow Americans who have a different perspective on how government should run and what government should look like. Whether or not we should have strong sovereign borders, whether or not we should have safe communities, whether or not we should have places to worship our God and not worry about being shot, whether or not we live in communities and cities that are not overwhelmed by drugs and crime, whether or not we have two genders, and whether or not we have common sense in our policies and our values. And people that believe these things are not existential threats. I happen to be one of these people that believes all of the above, and as someone that served this country in combat, I can assure you I am not an existential threat to this country because I swore to protect her. I also want to point out, how many cities have you seen burned to the ground since Charlie Kirk's death? 0. No summer of love, no riots, no nothing, no looting, no killing, none. We simply gathered and prayed for his soul, his family, and this country, because that's exactly what we represent. And while we might be angry,
I'll just say this real quick, he's making a very valid point. You look at the Republicans, every time these Democrats pull their crap in whatever they do, kill people, whatever. I mean, you don't see us Republicans out retaliating, going out and burning down the cities or rioting the streets, burning flags or anything else.
Right.
But sadly, we're seeing this every day.
Yes.
On the Democrat part.
This righteous anger will carry on Charlie's message and legacy. I want everybody to know something very simple. Charlie is not dead because of what he said. How do we solve this?
We solve this by giving the FBI more authorities to go into and work with the private sector. There are too many online platforms. There are too many social media platforms. There are too many gaming platforms. There are too many places for people from America and around the world to get together without their parents knowing anything about it, without their school teachers knowing anything about it, and infesting the minds of our children and infecting them with radical ideology, and with that is the root cause of these problems, and we must tackle it. It is not a 1950s America anymore. In 2025, the cyberspace needs to be tackled.
Thank you. Switching gears, when your predecessor sat right there in that seat a couple of years, last year in a committee hearing, I asked him a very detailed question about Matthew Thomas Crooks, the shooter responsible for the assassination attempt on President Trump's life. I did get an answer from Chris Wray that day, and I submitted written questions to the FBI and into the record of this committee. And I want to resubmit those questions today because I think we are still awaiting answers to those questions. So, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to submit some for the record, please. I'd like to ask you, sir, and the FBI, under your leadership, would you please respond to these questions, and can you commit to doing that?
As soon as the trial's over.
Thank you very much. I will end with this. Charlie Kirk is not dead because of what he said. Charlie Kirk is dead because people listened. He set up a tent that said, "Prove me wrong," and exercised his First Amendment right. That's all he did. And we will continue to do so in this country in order to preserve this constitutional republic. And with that, I yield back. Thank you.
Gentleman yields back. The gentleman from Florida is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Before I begin, I want to caution my colleagues on one-sided violence in this country. We just heard that there were no riots on the right. We're literally sitting in the building where there was a giant riot by supporters of the president, the right.
Okay, let's see.
So, and this is where the Democrats go with this. I mean, you turn around and you look at the reality behind it. I mean, we know January 6th, the truth about it now. We know that the Trump administration did not order this, like this guy is claiming, basically, which he's going to. It's just, we know that the Capitol Police was involved in this as well for the rioting.
Yes.
But where they actually encouraged people to come on in, take a tour, blah, blah, blah. And then they make it out to be something that it's not. As we see a veteran lady actually get gunned down and murdered by them.
Right.
But they don't want to mention this in this report, I guarantee you. But that's exactly what took place.
Yep.
We also heard that only leftists, have said that Trump is a Nazi. In 2016, the current vice president... So many conspiracy theories on what's going on with Charlie Kirk. Israel assassinated him, right? There are conspiracy theories about your personal social life all day. It is totally rampant. Big names on the right, Candace Owens, right? Talking about how what's been released as far as the dialogue between the perpetrator and his roommate is manufactured by the FBI, manufactured by the administration. It is totally rampant, allowing foreign governments to just perpetrate these platforms, all of these bots, all of the time to weaponize Americans. You see what's going on here? This is a byproduct of all of that. What's going on in the streets is a byproduct of all of that. What's happening is you see people celebrate Luigi Mangione is a byproduct of all of that. And so if we want to do something, then we should talk about Section 230. We should talk about how we're going to make sure that we don't let foreign governments poison our children's mind. And so I will work with you on that directly.
How about more like how the Democrats poison people's minds?
Thank you. Exactly. That whole educational system is crap and nothing but a propaganda agenda to create the next generation of voters for them. That's it.
But during this hearing, that's exactly what the Democrats do. They put they point the fingers right at the Republicans once again when, this was all, a lot of this was under the Obama administration.
Yes.
And Biden's administration.
Yes.
You take a look at a lot of the corruption that we've been seeing left and right. This is Democrats out rioting the streets, you know, and for that guy to even point a finger at Republicans, I mean, you know, I don't know what rock fell out of the sky and hit him upside the head, but I can tell you right now, there's just too much evidence that has finally come out that the American people are finally seeing the truth.
Yes.
And thank God. I mean, thank God, because, you know, I have been in such battles with the Democrats over this, saying, but your president is this and he's that. And it's like, excuse me? It was you guys that created this mess. And here's the fact. Yep. And the second you lay out the facts to these guys, they either start criticizing you, putting you all over the Democrat side about what an extremist you are, or whatever, because they've done that to me already. And quite frankly, I don't care. I mean,
or they cry how their feelings are hurt.
It's like, go back to your safe space corner.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think you're going to be all right there, because in my world, we're coming after you.
Yeah, exactly.
So now, that was the good part. I want to take your attention back. You're linking him to the world's largest pedophile ring. We'll be opening that investigation into that.
On what basis?
On what basis? They literally put out a fake document, according to the president, with a fake signature. It's a forgery of the president of the United States signature. That's the basis.
Sure, I'll do it.
Okay, I look forward to that investigation.
I'm sure Cash Patel's looking forward to doing it.
Gentleman's time has expired. Chair now recognizes the gentleman from California.
Judge Patel, as you know, my state,
bored.
California, is home to the worst public infrastructure failure in U.S. history, known as California High-Speed Rail, although the name is probably a misnomer.
But you know, Julie, I met with Jim Jordan over in Sierra Vista, Arizona, and the guy is actually a riot. I mean, he is down to earth. I know a lot of people say, you know, he's controlled opposition or whatever else, but you know, the guy is actually very down to earth, very, very much will sit down with you, have a cup of coffee, whatever. He just like you and me. He is so sick and tired of all the corruption that's been going on in this country, and I don't know how he even does the job he does anymore.
Yeah, it's a big job. For sure.
Earlier this year, I joined your counterpart at the Department of Transportation, Sean Duffy, doing a compliance for $130 billion. So I just wanted to ask you, do you think this is something that bears scrutiny, or can you confirm whether there's any kind of investigation going on at the FBI?
The FBI certainly can't investigate incompetence, but the FBI certainly can investigate and does investigate waste, fraud, and abuse. And so if we have any information that indicates that that happened in this situation or anything else, we'll look at it.
Thank you very much. We've also, been talking some today about the issues that occurred at the border during the Biden administration. And you might not agree with your predecessor on everything, but you probably would agree with some of the statements he made in testimony before this and other committees, raising alarms about the risk of terrorism from illegal border crossings. Since becoming director, have you gotten some insight into how well calibrated those warnings were, and what is the status of that risk now?
Since becoming director, there's been a sharp decrease of border crossings for known or suspected terrorists from the southern border. But unfortunately, there has been a sharp increase of known or suspected terrorists entering through our northern border. And so what I'm trying to do is work with our northern border states and our interagency to tackle that problem. But it is an absolutely massive border that can't physically be sealed. So we're going to have to get creative and put more resources into that.
And in a similar vein, there were over 500,000 unaccompanied children that crossed the southern border during the Biden administration. As we know, many were trafficked either through forced labor or sex trafficking. Do you have any insight as to what the scale of that problem was and how have things changed over the last several months?
other than what you outlined in terms of how it was described, I don't have any additional details in terms of how many people are being trafficked into this country, especially unaccompanied missing children. That number has drastically reduced because the coyotes that smuggle these children for their criminal activity are the same ones that smuggle in narcotics, or the same one that traffic older age women. They're all interconnected, and because of the sealing of the southern border by this administration, that has come to a near halt.
Yeah.
That is a very.
But see what Kash Patel didn't say right there, and I'm going to say it. The truth to the matter is, these 500,000 children that they're talking about have disappeared in the system. Nobody knows where they're at. They've been human trafficked for sex, for labor, whatever else. They know this much.
Yeah.
But beyond that, they have no clue where these children are at. These are the, like when I was down on the border reporting, we'd have these women bringing in multiple children at a time. Border Patrol wouldn't actually know these women by first name. And they knew these weren't their kids. They were being human trafficked. But under the Biden administration, they were told to take them in, process them, and let them go to wherever that woman's taking them to. Wow. Even though they knew it was human trafficking, this is what the Biden administration authorized and was on board with it. Wow. So once again, for these Democrats to sit there and point fingers at Trump, this is all under the Biden administration, the corruptness, everything that you're seeing. And again, we've got to put a stop here in America to this human trafficking, because it's not just these illegals bringing these children through. You know, how about all the American children that have been human trafficked here in America as well? And,
right.
And they've not just,
and their parents sell them. I don't think people quite comprehend the real big depth of this topic. This topic is going on within our communities everywhere in the United States, where children are being abused, they're being moved, they're being used for physical labor, they're being used for physical sex labor. Yeah. I heard this was a horrific statistic a while back. I heard. So when it came to the drugs, and this is why there's more money in trafficking a child than there is in trafficking drugs, is because they can only use the drug once. They use that child over and over daily. So,
well, you know, Julie, what a lot of people don't understand, not to interrupt you, sorry. What a lot of people don't understand, when a lot of these children that came through the border, when they were taken over to the processing center, there would be times they would find 10, 20 different semens in that child.
Oh my God.
We have had the children come through the border down there that reeked of semen. I mean, you could smell it on them.
Wow.
I mean, just the stench.
Yeah.
And, you know, so the cartel would, you know, rape them, rape the women as well.
Of course.
You know, like we've discussed in the past, they got the rape trees where they,
trees, yep.
You know, desert bushes, whatever. They'd take their panties, bras, throw them up in the tree as a souvenir. I mean, these guys are brutal thugs. And, you know, for what Trump is doing, where he ordered basically a war on the cartel, I 100% am on board with it.
Absolutely.
We just need, as far as I'm concerned, I hope Trump wipes every one of those son of a bitches out. Just eliminates them.
Right.
Because this is what it's going to take to end the human trafficking, the drug trafficking.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a while back, there was an interview with one of the cartel guys. I think it was on 60 Minutes, it might have been, where one of the cartel guys was asked, how do you feel about Trump ordering war against you? And, and the cartel guy said, we highly respect it. They said, because we know what we're doing kills people, and we know this.
Yeah.
But the American people are so stupid, is what he was basically saying.
Yep.
That they're allowing us to bring this drug in, get their children hooked on it, get the family loved ones hooked on it. Then they die.
Yep.
And for them, it's a multi-billion-dollar operation.
It is. Absolutely.
The human trafficking is a multi-trillion-dollar
Trillion with a T. Yes.
trillion.
Yes.
I mean, so they're getting money from both, and I can't express that
Oh,
enough
yeah.
to the American people. I mean, this is why we have such a war on the cartel right now, because the cartel knows we're trying to shut down their money empire.
That's right.
Because if we eliminate them, the money's gone. And you got to follow the money trail, guys. It goes through our government officials, which are corrupt. A lot of them.
Yep.
I'm not saying all of them, but a lot of them are corrupt. Like these judges we just exposed, that
Right.
have been being arrested for working with the cartel. Where they had the cartel's drugs, money. I mean, you name it.
Child porn. Yeah, child porn as well.
Yeah. They had it sitting right there in the judges' houses.
Yep.
When they got raided in this mass raid they've been doing.
I know, it's disgusting.
Matter of fact, we can get back to that in a minute, but California just ended up being a part of this mass raid as well. I mean, I know we're talking Arizona, Colorado, now California. I'm just going to share a real quick clip from that here, and then we'll get back to this.
Okay.
Let me quit sharing that for a second. And I think this is it right here. Yep.
3 a.m. Los Angeles. 1,300 federal agents are about to hit the streets. This is the moment the Rancho San Pedro gang's empire came crashing down. 80 arrests, 230 charged. 3 years of investigation and the largest gang takedown in LA history. This is how they did it.
San Pedro, California, the gateway to the port of Los Angeles, one of the busiest shipping hubs in the world. Cargo ships, container yards, and for decades, something else. The Rancho San Pedro Gang, RSP, a street gang that evolved into something far more dangerous than your typical corner crew. This wasn't just about territory disputes or street corners. Federal investigators discovered the RSP gang was running a sophisticated criminal enterprise. Firearms trafficking, drug distribution, connections to Mexican cartels, and a level of violence that terrorized an entire community. But the gang made one critical mistake. They attracted the attention of the federal government.
It starts with a tip. A confidential informant tells ICE, Homeland Security Investigations, about weapons moving through the harbor. Not just handguns, high-powered rifles, the kind that end up in cartel hands across the border. Special Agent Maria Santos, ICE, Homeland Security Investigations, Los Angeles Field Office. She's been tracking gang activity in the harbor area for years. But this case is different. The firearms aren't just being sold locally. They're being smuggled south into Mexico. And the money coming back? That's cartel cash. The Rancho San Pedro gang isn't just a local problem anymore. They're part of an international smuggling network. Agent Santos makes a call.
That's the key word.
This is now a multi-agency investigation. The FBI's Violent Gang Task Force joins in. Then the ATF, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, brings their weapons trafficking expertise. Local LAPD gang units provide street-level intelligence. For the next 3 years, these agencies will work together on one.
Anyhow, we can make a whole darn show of this stuff.
Absolutely. Yep. We may have to in the near future.
But, this is multi-states right now involved.
Yes.
California, Arizona, Nevada, New Mexico. New Mexico's got a lot going down right now. Utah, I mean, you name it. This is a multi-ring that's expanding clean out even to the East Coast.
Yep.
And come to find out, that's why we've been exposing these judges and lawyers to our viewing audience. We've got a lot of judges and lawyers that are just tied right to this.
Right.
They're a
They've
part of
been
the
placed there. They've been placed there
Yep.
on purpose. Yes.
You got judges, you got lawyers, you've got law enforcement that have been turned corrupt because of the almighty dollar. Now you got to keep in mind, Julie, just for the human trafficking alone, the cartel down in the Tucson sector, in the Yuma sector, they're paying our teenage children here in Arizona to traffic, to load these people up right down there on those borders and get them to where they want them to go. They're paying up to $10,000 a head. Keep in
Whoa.
mind, they've had children as young as 13 years old take mama's car, drive it down to the border areas, you know, and get in high-speed pursuits with our Border Patrol agents with illegals sitting in their trunk or their car where they've gotten in crashes. The car would engulf in flames, the whole 9 yards.
Oh
I
my
mean,
gosh.
I've actually covered this on my news channel.
Wow.
In the past, but this is the kind of crap that we have. So you got to keep in mind that they're paying our youth this kind of money. Then they come to find out, here's grandma and grandpa that sign up to do this as well because grandma and grandpa are on such a limited income.
Right.
And they figure, well, hell, if I'm making $10,000 a head, that's more than I make in one day than what I make in 5 years. If I'm trafficking, I'm trafficking 10, 20 a day. So this is why the cartel pays such large amounts of money to entice people.
Yep.
So when you got law enforcement officers making less than $4,000 a month, I think that's all a lot of the PDs are paying.
Wow.
You know, and 4,000 or less, depending where they're at. You know, when they're making such low income, and then these law enforcement guys are told, you know what, you come to work for us, we keep it all quiet. You watch our back. You make sure our drugs are going through, and you guys don't intervene on this.
Right.
And I'll tell you what, we'll pay you $20,000 a day.
Well, yeah.
For a law enforcement officer, that's a lot of dough.
That's a huge amount of money. That's exactly right. Yep.
And this is something these news channels don't talk about. That's why we are talking about it.
That's right.
Because this is exactly what's happening every day. This is why we're finding our judges, our law enforcement, even our lawyers. Our lawyers don't make even as much as what the cartel's paying them.
Right.
You know, being a lawyer. And lawyers make damn good money.
Yeah.
But, you know, when they can make an extra couple million a year off of the cartel,
they would.
Why not?
Yeah. Right.
And a couple million sounds like a lot of dough to you and me. But for the cartel, that's a drop in the bucket.
Nothing. Right.
Really
exactly.
is.
Yep.
But anyways, I just wanted to get that out there as well during this broadcast. But we'll share a little bit more on this trial as well.
Okay, great. The place looks great, by the way, Jonathan.
Yeah. Studio's coming together.
Looking really good. I'm liking that fireplace there.
A very important point that we have seen far fewer victims of human trafficking because we finally prioritized border security.
Is Director of National Intelligence 30 days until election 2024, which specifically states that our assessments about activities and goals of Russia, Iran, and China are unchanged from earlier election security updates, and that they were meddling.
Without objection.
And I've got 3 more. The last 3 are that how Russia is using artificial intelligence to interfere in elections. Moscow's attempts to interfere in U.S. and other elections are nothing new, though their tactics and strategy are constantly evolving.
Objection.
The next one is Russian interference coming soon to an election near you. Russia pursues a systemic strategy of undermining elections and influencing public opinion in the West. EU and NATO countries must recognize that Moscow often acts through agents within their own borders and build resilience to such interference.
And what's the source?
This one is carnegieendowment.org.
Okay, without objection.
Thank you.
The gentlelady from North Carolina is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and Director Patel, I'm glad that I'm going a little out of order.
Hey, real quick, you know what, Julie? I'd like to get on a little different topic real quick.
Okay.
You know, ever since, day before yesterday now, Donald Trump came out, was talking about how he's going to allow all these Chinese to come in and continue with our colleges. You know, here's the thing. He said they bring too much money into this country not to allow it. You know, that's what's keeping the colleges going, blah, blah, blah. This is one subject I am actually going to beat up on our president over. And, you know, I can't express it enough. I do love Donald Trump and all the good he's done. But right here, I mean, we've got the Chinese that directly work with the cartel. We got a lot of Chinese spies out there that try to come in, infiltrate our colleges, the whole 9 yards. Where they, what the hell was Donald Trump thinking to even announce this, to broadcast it?
You know, I find this very, very curious. I was in higher ed in at actually 3 different universities in student housing, and the university I worked for, we had built these brand new, gorgeous dorms, brand new. And we were told that we were going to be expecting upwards of about 3,000 Chinese students coming over to fill those new dorms. They had just built them. Trump just then came in and changed things. And this was before I knew anything about politics or following it or anything. He shut things down so that those 3,000 Chinese students did not come over to that specific university. And we wound up getting only like 700 students. So it's very curious to me that now all of a sudden he's saying that we want them to come over. And I'm of the mind that why are we even worried about trying to keep higher ed, which is nothing but propaganda to change and sway our young minds into the democratic agendas, right? And the whole transgender and all of that, that's their push. It's very curious to me why he would now all of a sudden want to save the schools when, I don't know, maybe he's bringing it up just to bring it up to make everybody aware. I mean, that's one thing that he has done in the past, to make everybody aware that this thing has been going on anyway, that we've brought thousands and thousands of Chinese students over in the past. I don't know. I'm going to have to do more research for what he's talking about.
See, part of his broadcast is where he had a meeting with Laura Ingraham on Fox News. That's where I watched the whole program. And he more or less was insinuating that the Chinese are much smarter than Americans. They got more to offer, and especially in some of the higher professions. And it's like, that to me, I took almost as an insult, you know, for America.
Right.
And, you know, everybody has a different smartness about them, you know?
Right.
But for him to imply that these Chinese people are much more intelligent than American people is the way I kind of took it. And maybe I'm wrong, but that's the way I took it. And talking about the, millions and millions of dollars that they bring to the table for these colleges to help, keep the colleges going.
Right.
First of all, here's my input on it. These colleges, in my opinion, these days are nothing but left wing propaganda bullshit, where they're trying to brainwash our college students the whole 9 yards, which hurts America at the end of the day.
Yep.
Why would you be okay with bringing a bunch of Chinese people in to do this kind of crap?
Yeah.
To help with this as well. Not to mention, and again, not to mention, these are the same thugs that we've witnessed, we live filmed them, coming through our borders, working with the whole 9 yards.
Yep. And we've already been infiltrated. And, I mean, this is, if they think they're just starting to come over, that's not correct. They've been here.
Yeah. Now it's coming to me that I've been told that Donald Trump has somewhat retracted this and said he was more or less doing this to awaken another part of the party out there, to let them know, see, the patriots, the American, people are not going to be okay with this, and this is why we cannot do this. This came out on another talk show person's broadcast that I seen on a broadcast, but I have not been able to confirm whether that ever came out of Donald Trump's mouth or not, that he did not really mean this. I've searched and I've searched. So if any of the viewing audience today has something they can share out there, where Donald Trump was retracting what he had to say. Here, I might even put the comment section up here on the board for you guys, so maybe we can see it if you have a comment about it. But we'd like to hear about it.
Absolutely.
Because right now, I can honestly say I'm one pissed off patriot about this.
I heard about that. I also heard about him announcing the 50-year mortgage.
Yeah, he did announce about the 50-year mortgage.
Which, again, that could be to go look and research what a mortgage actually is.
Yeah. And, with the 50-year mortgage, maybe part of that might be possibly good in only one aspect, that it would lower the cost of the monthly payments on a home, over a 50-year
I thought that too. I thought that too on the surface.
Yeah. But the problem is, with the 50-year mortgage, you're pretty much making it where the American people are pretty much never going to pay their damn home off, for starters, unless they sell it. Chances are, you give me a 50-year mortgage, I guarantee you I'm going to be 6 feet under before it's even paid. But
so we'll have to take another show to talk about what the mortgage is and how it's a cartoon we watched a couple days ago with the strong.
That'd be good.
Yeah. Well, that's a fun deep dive we should definitely look to have.
Yeah. Looks like Anna Townsend says good morning to us. Good morning, Anna.
Howdy.
But again, if anybody has any insight on this, any extra knowledge, that Trump possibly retracted his statement the other day on the Laura Ingraham show, I'd love to see it. Because at this point, that's hearsay. And the guy did not provide actual evidence that Trump really did retract it. But, again, for him to do this to the American people, I don't know.
Yeah, it doesn't fit. It doesn't seem to fit unless, again, it's used to wake people up to what those mortgages really are. And again, I think so. I'll work on that this weekend. We can have a deeper dive for what the mortgages are, how we're borrowing our own money that they've stolen from us.
Right.
So that'll be a fun one to deep dive.
So for all you guys out there that want to sit there and say, "Oh, I heard Alexander this morning on the talk show, and he's sitting there trying to turn us all against Trump," that's not what I'm doing, folks.
No,
I
no.
I
This is,
I
we need
can,
more information. We
yeah.
need more information on this topic for what he's trying to speak. Yeah.
And what I can tell you guys right now, I can agree to disagree with our president. That's my option. I don't have to
Exactly.
100% agree with everything Donald Trump does. And this is one section. If this is what he's really doing, he doesn't have my vote on this. Absolutely not. Not in that
Right.
category.
Right.
And
No.
and and that's probably a lot of it has to do with because I see what's happening in our country. I'm down on the borders reporting this crap, getting it out there to the American people. I
Yeah.
know what these Chinese thugs, and I'll call them what I think they are, Chinese thugs are about, that have come through this border. Um, and and trust me, people, they're not good. They're not good people, not
No.
in my opinion.
You know.
Not the people I met on the border. I'll rephrase that. The people I met coming through the border, I'll tell you what, I could tell their intentions were not good for America. And they just kind of smiled at me back then because back then it was under the Biden administration. They just kind of smiled at me like, guess what? You can't do
You
shit
can't
about
touch
this.
me. Right.
You know, you
Yeah.
can't touch me. Um, so, but again, if this is what we're doing in one aspect, we're setting America up for failure as well by doing this, in my opinion. And this is strictly my opinion.
Yeah. Well, and again, it's still early for what we just learned that he said, and let's see if it's actually really, really true.
Yeah.
We'll see. We need a deep dive.
Yeah.
And if it is, then we need to see about intercepting and getting heard. So
Well, the way I took it, Julie, and I'll just say this, the way I kind of took this is, when he mentioned the almighty dollar about this, about the money that they're bringing to these colleges, well, what about the almighty dollar that these cartels are bringing in through our borders and all the other crap as well? I mean, he's shutting them down. So, in this trip that he did over to Asia to meet with their president over there in China, I'd like to know what the hell really took place over there in that meeting for him to come back and all of a sudden act like he's got a great relationship with the Chinese president and they've agreed to not be allowing the fentanyl product for the makers to be coming over to the United States.
yeah,
And
I did
Donald
see
Trump
that.
and Donald Trump in agreement says, "Well, I'm going to allow 30 to 60, thousand or whatever." No, maybe it was up to 300,000 more. I believe I'd have to double look at the report. I think it might have been up to 300,000 more college students to come to America in exchange for, the Chinese president stopping the fentanyl crap. But that's not going to stop it because Mexico makes it too.
Right.
I mean, it might put a dent in it, but it's not going to stop it.
Right.
But at the same time, you don't sell our souls to the devil.
Please.
In exchange,
right.
That's the way I'm going to say it. In exchange for the Chinese president to quit sending the devil's product over to America, for making fentanyl and shit, everything else in the book. It's either you put a stop to it, you don't tolerate, you don't negotiate that kind of thing right there.
Right.
Because right now, we need this country safe. We've got so much chaos already happening in our streets around the country, protests going on over the wars and different things. You name it. And then now this, this is just almost like a jab to us in one aspect.
Yeah, there's definitely some deep dive that needs to take place here to see what's going on.
And I've had Q followers reaching out to me once again. Trust the plan. Trust the plan. It's like, didn't you guys all say that 4 years ago, right when Trump didn't get office, and you guys kept saying Trump's in control. You guys just wait and see. And I'm sitting there watching the border invasion, watching all the crap down there. And I pointed it out to the Q followers. I said, wait a second. So you're telling me Donald Trump is okay if he's in charge? He's okay with this invasion coming through our borders? What's that? What's that telling me that you're trying to tell me? That Donald Trump is okay with American people dying? Um, obviously not, because he's putting a stop to the crap on the borders.
Right.
But, this is what they kept telling me from day one: trust the plan, trust the plan. And, he's going to take power. He's taking control. The American people's going to see. And I was told he was going to take control within the first week after he lost that election. You guys will see it's all going to come out. And the next thing you know, we're a month into it. The same thing. Trust the plan. There's a little delay, but trust the plan. 4 years later, here's another election. Donald Trump's sitting there telling us all how corrupt the previous election was. He didn't say, by the way, folks, I was in complete control over that whole time.
Right.
Frankly, I wouldn't want to own up to being in control of the country for 4 years of hell that this country went through.
Right.
And not to mention the hundreds of thousands of people that have died.
Right.
So I don't know. And I know some Q followers are going to probably beat up on me again today and tell me how I didn't understand. And that's fine. You guys can try to beat up on me, but you know what? I'm going to say it. I've said it before in my broadcast. I'm going to say it again. I think Q was fabricated. I think it was to keep the American patriots at bay. And here's what I truly think, guys. And I've said it before for those of you who have heard me say this. I think when Donald Trump lost, the Democrats knew that we knew of the election fraud and everything in the book. We knew. We all knew it. It was right there before our eyes, just kind of like the good old plague thing that came out.
Right.
I'm being careful how I say it for YouTube. But here's the thing. With us knowing of all the crap going on, you look at what Donald Trump has had to face through the previous election, then what he's facing through this election right now. This is complete hell what he's been going through. He's had nothing but opposition left and right on this, trying to control him, including the courts. The courts are acting like they're the president of the United States.
Well, and the courts are so corrupt. It's not. Yeah, you're exactly right. Yep.
But what I was getting to with Q, I mean, these Q guys want to always attack me, telling me how I don't understand the plan. And you know what? I think I understand the plan crystal clear, because what I was in the process of saying about when they started the Q stuff, this was back when they were trying to keep us patriots at bay because they knew we were hot about the election. They knew by the amount of people that showed up when Donald Trump said, let's peacefully assemble down there and let our voices be heard. They knew the American people were hot. And quite frankly, if we would have had a civil war, I think it would have been then, And I think that's why Q intervened, because they knew this was going to create a civil war. And quite frankly, I believe if it wasn't for people believing that Q was really there, that it was Donald Trump was Q, so to speak, I think we might have had a different outcome. I honestly think we might have seen an actual civil war. Because
if that's the case, Jonathan, then we would have lost even more people.
Absolutely.
Than we have over the last 4 years, right?
But you turn around and you look at what's going on right now. We have a civil war going.
Yeah.
This is what the Democrats are doing. They're out there attacking our Homeland Security, our Border Patrol, our law enforcement, attacking us patriots even. I mean, if you're caught wearing a Trump hat in these liberal cities, they're ganging up on you, beating the living the hell out of you.
Yeah.
I think it's just a matter of time before we start seeing large amounts of casualties and a lot more deaths besides Charlie Kirk. I think we're going to start seeing a lot of this. And I know there's a lot that's not even being reported on. I was talking to
Oh, right. Yeah.
I was talking to Angela out in Oregon yesterday on my show, and Angela was telling me how they've got a lot of deaths out there in Salem and Portland, Oregon, from all this crap going on,
Yeah.
and that nothing is being broadcasted out on the news channels about the amount of deaths. And once again, there's your liberal news hiding the truth from
Hiding.
America.
Right. Yep. Yep.
And
Not
American
reporting
people,
the truth. They haven't been
yep,
reporting the truth for a long time. Yep.
because they know that if we the people hear of the amount of deaths really happening in these liberal cities, where they're attacking patriots, attacking people that are out even just news reporting, doing the coverage of it. I think we would see an uprise of patriots as well, a lot more than what we're seeing.
Yeah.
Because as it is, these No Kings events and different crap that we're seeing going around the country. I went to the one out in Kingman, Arizona, and also Lake Havasu. Lake Havasu had a large number of patriots out there standing on the streets, flying the flag right on the opposite side of the street of the protesters.
Cool.
And basically letting them know you're not going to silence us.
Yeah.
But then right here in Kingman, Arizona, the whole line was nothing but liberals and people out there doing the No Kings crap.
Yeah.
And it's like, where's the patriots here in Kingman, Arizona?
Well, I think patriots get nervous when they see the other side beating us up when we're out,
Well, so here's Mr. Alexander. I'm going down there doing the live coverage of it. And I'm drilling these guys with questions, like, do you even know what you're here, protesting?
Oh, no. And then they collected a paycheck, most of them.
And they all seem to be like a broken record. They got the same story.
Yeah.
To tell me.
It's the talking points. It's their 4 a.m. talking points.
Well, I actually signed up for the people that promote this. Anyways, so I could get on the inside to find out where the events were because they were keeping it quiet right up until the very time. And sitting there listening to the conversations and telling people how you got to say this, you got to say that at these events. People start to question you, just walk away.
Yep.
You're basically told,
don't talk to anybody.
Yeah, you're basically given a line to give for your speech to whatever you're going to say to them.
Yeah.
And after that, you're to do a no comment and walk away.
Wow.
So I can see these guys these guys were all a bunch of sheep that just stood in a line.
Yep.
Did their little history class with them on how we're going to do this and this. And beyond that, it's just a bunch of sheep out there. And
that's the truth.
So, anyways, let's see. I've got, I think I got another comment here from, oh, that's in private chat. Sorry. Donald Trump is a traitor. You don't know what you're talking about, Mr. Alexander. Oh, ain't that sweet of you? So all I can say to you for your wonderful comment, oh God, I got a nose itch. Can you see that? All right. My nose was itching. Anyways, sorry about that. Probably a little unprofessional there. Freedom of speech. Gotta love it.
Yep.
But I mean, well, that's called sign language, so everybody can understand. But either way, like I said, this is just, I'd love to see people get more involved with what's going on. Kind of like what Charlie Kirk was doing. He was out confronting people. It's not that he was trying to create division or anything else. He was trying to get to the bottom of what was making people think the way they think.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Do they even know what they're really talking about?
Right.
And so many people that I would watch that man interview at the end of the day would go, well, we never had that kind of an understanding before. Now we do.
Yes.
we couldn't see that picture of what was really going on.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and Charlie had a way about him of being able to just get people to go, "Wow,
Yes.
now I see the
Yes.
logic behind what you're saying."
Yes. He was
You know,
very articulate at putting
but
everything
yeah,
together for us in
yeah,
a very simple way, you know?
yeah. But
Yeah.
but then at the end of the day, you know, you would still have some people that would turn around and just, even though he laid it all out there, all the facts, all the truth, they'd be like, "Ah, you don't know what you're talking about."
Right. Well, and that's again, that people can walk away anytime they want to with that. But the point is that you can lead the horse to the water, but you can't make them drink. You know, you can lay
Amen to
out
that.
all the facts, but facts don't mean anything in some people's minds. So we're probably about up for time here
Yeah,
today.
we are up for time. Julie, it's been great today. Just trying to get more information on. I would like you guys to, if you guys haven't commented, which I don't see a comment on that matter. Um, if you guys can help me do a little research out there, see if Donald Trump really did retract his statement about China. I'd like to know if that's true or false.
Yeah.
Because there's some pretty big broadcasters out there saying that he did do this, but there's nothing on the news about it, which,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, and not even Fox News has said that he retracted it. And even though they're kind of liberal owned, they're good about still producing those kind of things where he retracts things or whatever.
Right.
I'd like to know if that is true or false. And just give us your thoughts on the 50-year, home mortgage as well.
Yeah. 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 We'll have a deeper dive on that next Monday.
Yeah, we can have a deeper dive on that. Other than that, guys, it is Friday. Hope you guys all have a wonderful weekend out there. Thanks for joining in to Jonathan and Julie D in the morning. We appreciate you guys tuning in. Love to start hearing more people's comments on some of these subjects. Or you guys can just stay silent and listen to us. It don't matter either way. But it's always nice having other people's feedbacks, Julie. I'm very open-minded. Doesn't mean I've got to agree with them, but I'm open-minded. I'll listen to
Right.
it
We'll listen. Absolutely.
and
Absolutely.
and hear their opinions on it.
Mm-hmm.
And either we can agree or we can agree to disagree. Either way, we're never going to beat upon you for making a comment on this channel, because everybody's inputs are welcome. Doesn't mean we got to like it, except for if you want to sit there and basically tell me to, you know what, then I'm going to sign language.
Yeah.
Other than that, guys, God bless all you guys out there. Have a wonderful weekend, and thanks for joining in to our show today. So
Have a good one.
And let me see if I can get this off of the screen real quick. Oh, ain't that sweet? It doesn't want to let me end the broadcast. I guess we could sing to the audience. Hold on a second. Ain't that ironic? Wow. Julie, are you able to end the broadcast on your end?
I don't know. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to try. See you.
Well, it looks like it might have ended her, but it did not end me. Ain't that lovely? Okay, I'm going to get rid of this. How ironic. All right, guys. Well, the show's over. The studio's not letting me in this damn thing. Hold on a second. Wow. Okay, looks like I am going to be able to end the broadcast. So, said network difficulty. All right, guys. God bless you guys. We'll see you guys Monday. Thanks for joining in. Hey, baby girl. How are you? Yeah, yeah.